In this video, we're taking a look at what might be the smallest gimbal that I've ever seen, and we have a special guest today. That's Cheese. He just sits like that, so yeah. Hello YouTube, my name is Ryan Timms, and if you're new around here, thank you so much for stopping by. I like to talk about all things camera and the fun toys that we get to use with them. Today we're taking a look at the WG2X, which is a small, wearable and splash-proof gimbal from FeiyuTech for GoPros and other small action cameras. This is definitely the smallest gimbal that I've ever used, and that is something that really interested me. So I really wanted to take a look at this. Sometimes when you're traveling, you need the smallest gear possible so that you can bring the most stuff. And if you're like me, I don't use a ton of gimbals with my larger cameras. I tend to use those for like specialty shots. But for something small and the great footage that we're getting out of the Hero 7, I really see this having an important place in my bag when I do fly or I go somewhere that I need something really, really small. Now the gimbal is splash proof, so it can get a little bit wet. It's gonna survive things like skiing, snowboarding, maybe on a boat. This will live where some of the other gimbals just can't. The other thing, the big selling point, and I can't stress this enough, is the size and that it's mountable. So this is gonna be able to just go and live and do things that other gimbals can't do in a corner of a car, or mounting to your chest while you're riding a bike, or just things that you wouldn't think about using a gimbal for are now possible with something small like this. Now when you get the gimbal, it comes with this nice, it's like a hard foam travel case, and inside it has cutouts for everything here, so the gimbal can live in here. You can leave the camera on in here when you travel with it, and it comes with this little mount here. So this is like a threaded screw. I know it's kind of hard to see. This is a threaded screw with the GoPro accessory mount. So any GoPro accessories, you can take this gimbal and mount it to. And the first one that really jumped out to me was my dog harness. I knew as soon as this thing was coming in that I had to put it on Mac. You can see some of those shots now. Maybe wasn't the best test of this gimbal because a dog walking is really unconventional movement, so we're kind of wobbling all over the place. But you can really get a sense for what I would consider an extreme condition for this. I think that it's gonna perform better on anything where the movement isn't bouncing up and down. So any kind of vehicle, bike, motorcycle, car, something like that, this thing would be great for, because it's gonna eat up all of that shake, but you're not gonna be bouncing around like the dog was walking, right? So rattling, really aggressive movement on a bike, something like that, this thing is gonna be great. So you could put it on your chest, you can mount it to the bike, anywhere that you can put the GoPro accessories, you can put this guy. The stabilization itself is really good too, so we'll take a look at some test shots now. Here's the Hero 7 with no stabilization on, just handheld walking with the camera. And now here's the Hero 7 just with Hyper Smooth on. And now here's the Hero 7, Hyper Smooth on, and the WG2X gimbal. You can see that with all of that stabilization active, you're really getting some nice, crispy, smooth shots. And if you can eliminate, like I said, any of that bouncing movement, so if there's any way for you to get on wheels or to just move with your body in, you're gonna get some really nice cinematic stuff with this. And I do think that this has a place in a pro user's kit. GoPro's really doing some impressive things with the Hero 7. I'm really happy with the footage from this camera, and it cuts nicely with my existing cameras. I definitely prefer this footage the most over all the action cameras that I've used over the years. And this is one that I'm finally okay with giving to a client and not necessarily qualifying and saying like, oh, well, this is action camera footage, right? This can look like a real camera if you know what you're doing on the back end. So having a little gimbal like this is great because I don't always want to tear down the GH5 and put it on the Ronin S. Sometimes I just need a quick pickup shot, or I'm just in a place where bringing all that extra gear isn't possible. So this is a great solution for me where I can just pick it up. I've got everything else set up ready to go. I can leave this to the side, grab it out of the bag, no balancing, turn it on, it's ready to go. Gimbals all the time, when you use them, you're gonna hit buttons, they're gonna kind of go out of whack, but what's great about this is you can just grab it and reposition it where you need to, and you feel the motors kind of just snag, and then it stays in whatever position that you need to put it in. So that's really helpful. Since there's no joystick on the back, for quick adjustments, I just need to snap this thing back to the center. It's ready to go. I need to tilt up because I'm gonna film like this. Boom, it's ready to go. It's really handy to have it be this responsive. This is not something that you really see in every gimbal, that it's gonna act as quickly as you need it to. A lot of gimbals, I would say, can sometimes slow you down. And when you're in a crazy production environment, or you're at a place where all you wanna do is get the shot, that's what your focus is. You can't be fiddling around with settings, you can't be messing around with modes, you just need something that's ready to go. And if I can just, snap this thing down so that I can film an overhead shot, or I need to quickly pick it back up and shoot sideways like this, it's ready to go. I really, really appreciate what FeiyuTech has done here. Where would you mount this thing? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below. Links to the gimbal and all the gear that I use, as always, in the description below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video.
Is that your best friend?
Cheese. Cheese. You're in the shot. You're in the shot. Can you? Thank you.